everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last episode, making an EVA foam Valkyrie helmet part 1, we knocked out the whole helmet structure of our build. We did the top cap, we did the face guard, we did the back neck piece. Then we started detailing it. Started doing all of our little metal stripping. We nailed our squirrely details, and it wasn't hard. You just have to be careful. It's a little bit meticulous. Stand your knife up and pivot around, but not hard. And everything went down great so far. So now in this episode, making an EVA foam Valkyrie helmet part 2, we are going to knock the rest of this out. We're going to finish our metal banding all the way around it. We're going to knock out the rest of the little details on the front. We're going to tackle this cool pointed round spike on the top, which is totally awesome. And the most important part of a Valkyrie helmet, the part that makes it bad to the bone, the wings. That's right, these things are loaded with 18 million tons of work and detail. But super easy. When you see how easy these wings are, and they come out looking great, look at that, and it is so darn easy. So enough of me yapping. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Now this is the size for the base for our spike on the top of our helmet, but we have to put a couple little filler pieces in here, here, and here so that it'll sit flush. So we traced our template over. And now we want these supports to be a little bit smaller than this piece so that this piece hangs over the edges of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in a little bit inside our Sharpie marks like that, and like that. There we go. And we just do 2 more. They're all going to sit right in the corners just like that. Then, just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because no one will see it. It's just going to be a base. All right, now we're going to do the base for our spike at the top of our helmet. So we're going to come in . All right, there we go. Nice. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to round off both edges all the way around this piece with our Dremel. So put your dust mask on. Do not Dremel without your dust mask. All right, there we go. Now we've got a slight round edge on both sides. Give it a couple minutes and then bam, contact. That is a base just screaming for a spike. Okay, what we've done is we took the template for the diameter of our spike, transferred it over. We need our spike to be that tall, which is 1.75 inches. That's going to be the size of our spike. So what we did is we took an 1-inch thick piece of foam and a 3/4 inch piece, and we are going to stick it together, and that's going to give us our 1.75 inches. And then we'll take our piece over to the bandsaw, we'll tilt the table, and we'll cut this out, and we're going to cut ourselves out a nice spike for the top of our helmet. We're going to heat seal this foam before we glue it, just to tighten it up a little bit. Give it a couple minutes. Layering up to get the thickness we want. 1.75 inches. There's our diameter. We're going to raise our guide up just a little over our piece, lock it down. Now we've got the table tilted, we've got our 1 3/4 foam, and we've got our mark on it. So now let's do our cut. What? Get the heck out of here. Bam! Wow. That is nuts. That is absolutely crazy. Look at that. Man, is that sweet. So, there we go. Let's try to clean the tip up a little bit. Wow, nuts. Okay, now we've got a little bit of a tricky thing here because this base has a slight curve to it. So if we stick this on there, this flat bottom will not sit on that curve properly. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to come in here and we're gonna need to try to carve out a little bit of the inside of this. There we go. Got a slight concave bottom. Now when we stick it on there, oh, lays down flat. All right. Man, I am nerding out right now. Wow. All right, let's seal this up. What's also gonna do is get rid of some of the little frays around the edges. Wow, that is ridiculous. Give it a few minutes. Line our spike up on our Sharpie marks we made. Holy cow, that sits flush on there, and I mean flush. We have a slight dome on our top base piece because it's on top of the helmet, and we fixed that by slightly concaving the bottom of the spike. All right, now we're gonna start doing our little circle details on the front of our helmet. All right, so we've got a little 2mm piece for our base, and then we've got a 4mm piece for the rounded detail that's going to go on the top. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to come in, we're going to pivot. All right, there we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our Dremel in, and we are going to round the top of this off. Check that out. Nice and rounded. Now that is pretty cool. All right. All right, there we go. Look at that, nice. Pretty darn cool. And there we go. We've got one more little circle detail we're going to cut out. So we're going to all right, there is the little itty bitty tiny base. We're going to come in with our tube and we're going to poke out a perfectly round little piece for this. All right, there we go. All right, now we got this little tiny pee-wee piece. We're gonna try to Dremel the edges. Wow. Nice little rounded piece. Now we're gonna heat seal this. Super glue right there, just a little drop. We're going to take our little round rivet, get the bottom wet. There you go. Very cool. Now we're going to take our little bit of super glue there, get the bottom of our piece wet, just like that. Then we're going to come in right in the front center like that. Looks about right. Pretty jamming. And like we talked about, once the wings go on this kick butt helmet, we're gonna come in and heat it from the inside, and then we're going to bend this in like that so the helmet looks a lot more streamlined to the face instead of flared out like that, but that's okay. It's gonna come in just like that. Ooh, man. It's gonna be swell. Okay, there's our wing for the side of our helmet. Obviously, we're gonna build two of these, but we'll show you how to build one. And here's our wing, and we traced it out with our template, and we've got all of our feathers here ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in with a guide like this, and put it down. These are gonna be all the A feathers. If you can see right here, we've got all of our A feathers right here. So we're going to come in, we drew our template down. Now we know as we cut out our feathers, we know exactly where to place them so that they line up and they're perfectly fanned out the way we want them. Then we're going to come in with our other pieces and do the same thing. After we build layer A up, we'll come in. Then, actually before we do B, we'll put C down. So we've got the base layer, then this layer on top, then B on top, and then our final piece A. And it's gonna be that easy. We're gonna get all of our A section cut out of here. We're gonna do A first. All right, we're gonna do A first. Now it's gonna be this easy. It's that easy, that's feather one. Now, we're gonna go through all these and we're gonna cut them all out, and then we're gonna begin detailing with the Dremel. All right, there we go. There is our A section of our feathers. We cut all of our pieces out, and you see what we're gonna do after we Dremel the edges and we put our creases on the sides and our spine down the middle. We can overlap them all like that. It's gonna create a really awesome layered feather effect. All right, there's sections B, C, and D. We are all done cutting out our feathers, and now we're going to begin doing all the Dremel details to each individual feather. All right, here we go. Let the festivities begin. All right, we're going to get out our Dremel, and we're going to put our dust mask on, and we're going to taper the edge of this all the way around. All right, there we go. Look at that. It's really tapered. It goes down to a point on the ends. That is nice. Now, we're going to use the sharp edge of our Dremel to put our little lines in it. And it's going to be really simple. We're going to come in. Dang, that's a feather right there. There you go. Now we're just gonna do, good grief, how many are there? Like 30 of these things or something? And then we're gonna have to do it twice. All right, now we're gonna bring in our heat gun. We're gonna seal this. The surface tightened up. That is sweet. Can't wait to see what it looks like when we take 30 of these things and lay them all down and fan them out. That is ridiculous. Look at that. That is absolutely crazy town. And that was super easy. All we did was taper the end of each leaf, did some easy little strokes on it to make those little feather edges, did the little vein down the middle. Look at that. That is absolutely insane and easy. I cannot stress it enough. That is so easy. Okay, so now what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to start cementing all these things down using our contact cement. And wow. Then when we're done. Now we're going to start with this centerpiece because this feather is going to be the lowest one. And then going this way, they're going to stack on top of each other. And going this way, they're going to stack up on top of each other. So give it a couple minutes. All right. Did our feather by feather. All right, that's it. Just keep going. We're going to stack this whole side up one at a time, and then we're going to head this direction and stack it up going that way. Dimensional feathers. That is crazy. Now we're going to come in and we're going to start laying down the C ones next. We're going to roughly draw our line on here so we know where we're going to be cementing. Holy cow. That is absolutely ridiculous. Look at that. That is so cool. Wow, that is ridiculous. I can't stop saying ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. All right, here we go. Look at how cool that looks. Look at the dimension on there. Wow, that looks just like a cool relief carved out of metal. Wow. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and this wing needs to be thicker, a lot thicker. So what we're going to do is this, is we traced our template out again, and we're going to attach this to this thicker foam, this thick 6mm piece. And that way it's got a nice thickness to it, but we're not going to go all the way to the back because we don't need it to go to the back. We just are going to need to see the thickness on the front end. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing the exact shape, we want the front all the way around it thick, but we don't need the back that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here probably, and we're going to all right, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it first. Just before we stick this down, is we're going to taper this edge. All right, we're going to put our dust mask on. All right, there we have a nice soft tapered end. All right, there we go. Give it a couple minutes. All right. Perfect. I'm gonna lay it down flat. All right. There we go. Now we're going to come in with a super sharp X-Acto blade and we're going to cut this out. And that's it. And we're cutting it on a little bit of a bevel. We have our knife tipped so that we'll be able to see the thickness, but it'll kind of recess backwards. See that? Very nice. All right. Now we're going to just continue all the way around. We're going to keep our knife tilted. There we go. See that? We wanted a thicker wing. Now we'll come in with the Dremel and we'll clean this up. Got a nice smooth edge all the way around. All right, that is insane. Look at that. That is a complete wing assembly for one side of the helmet. Turned out crazy. And it was really easy, and I mean easy. You saw how easy that was. And now our wing is nice and stiff too. So that's it. Now we gotta do this whole process again a second time. That is crazy. Look at that. Man, are those cool. All right, we've got our two wing sections completed. We've got our spot marked on the back right there on both sides, and the matching spot marked on the helmet right here, there, and there, but we're going to glue and we're going to attach them. Give it a couple minutes. All right, here we go. We're gonna line our wings up with the Sharpie marks we made. And we're going to push down tight. So all right. Whoa. All right, give it a couple minutes. Just like that. That is a Valkyrie helmet right there. Nice, and if you notice at the bottom how it flares out real wide right here, we're gonna heat this up and we're gonna curl it like that so that these wings wrap around your face. All right, now we don't wanna separate any glue. Heat up inside the wing down here so we can bend the wing, but we're also gonna heat up just a little bit in here to soften it up so we can kind of try to shape the helmet a little bit. Alright, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to heat up down here on the bottom of the helmet. We're staying away from the seams. Alright, now we're going to keep it held like that so that it cools off. Alright, there we go. Now the helmet itself back here is a little more narrow. It's not as wide as it was. Now we're going to heat up the bottom tips of the wings and we're going to curve those in too. And we're going to come in and we're going to hit this wing over here. There we go. We're getting it good right now. All right, now what we're going to do is this. We're going to come in and we're going to curve this wing like that. And we're going to hold it just like that and we're going to let it cool off. Okay, now we're going to get this other wing, curve that wing in as well. So we've got our two wings curved in. All right, check it out. We put a slight little curve in our wings, just like that. And you saw how easy that whole thing was. And with that heat shaping that we just did, that brings our Valkyrie helmet to a close. So that was it. How about that? What did I tell you? Super easy. I mean easy. Look how great they look. And also got to mention something. We knocked out this spike on the top because we had a bandsaw. But if you don't have a bandsaw, you can still do that spike. If you go back and check out our video, making an EVA foam gladiator helmet, that does spikes a different way. You can cut a square piece of foam, use your box cutter, you can cut it to a 4-pointed spike, then you could use the Dremel to round off the corners to make it round. So you can achieve that same spike without a bandsaw. So if you want to know how to do that, go check out our other video, making an EVA foam gladiator helmet, and the same way we do those spikes, just do it bigger for this one, and then Dremel off the edges. All right. That concludes making an EVA foam Valkyrie helmet part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.